What's going on, Workforce? Brian here, and we've got a rumor for you that I think you might enjoy. Hopefully this ends up panning out to be true. We've waited a very long time to hear more about Final Fantasy XVI. Gamerant is reporting Final Fantasy XVI announcement coming this summer, along with another new game and IP from Square Enix. Now, I'm going to include a link to this article in the description below. If you're interested in checking it out, I encourage you to do so. This comes from them. I want to make sure that they get the clicks, they get the hits that help them out, but I just want to bring this to you. Feel free to read along with me. Feel free to go read this for yourself. And if you choose to do that, thanks for tuning in, and I'm glad I pointed you in the right direction. Let's go ahead and dive in. So it says, obviously a leak claims that Final Fantasy XVI's announcement is coming this summer, and it also mentions some interesting in-game features and plans. For the Final Fantasy franchise has been an interesting legacy of ambitious games. In light of the success of its most recent addition to the main series, Final Fantasy XV, many have wondered when another title would be released. There seems to now be some information about the release plans for Final Fantasy XVI, and although players may want to wait for official word from the developer before they get too excited. Always a good choice to do that. So, let this be a good monicum of hype. I'm excited. And you'll see why here in a little bit. The Final Fantasy series takes place in a different fictional universe with each installment, and many players have enjoyed the diverse characters and storylines. While there is plenty of debate about which is the best Final Fantasy tactics, they all have an individual merits, and the titles have managed to adapt and change the gaming expectations. Many will be interested to see how the next installment would adapt to the next generation of consoles, and if this leak is correct, they won't have to wait too much longer to find out. The leak claims that Final Fantasy XVI and a new IP IP from Square Enix, Crimson Arboretum, will be unveiled this summer at a gaming event. It is unclear which event, although many will hope that it's connected to the upcoming PlayStation 5 events. Despite there being no clear date for the announcement of Final Fantasy XVI, honestly, don't tell me about it unless we are close to the release. That is the most important thing. Don't tell me about it and then release it in 2025. Like, if you're gonna sit here and say, hey, it's coming, like 18 months max. We've been there with Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Final Fantasy 15. Like, let's just change up the game a little bit and go from there. So, despite there being no clear date from the event of the announcement, Final Fantasy 16, there's some interesting comments about what will feature in it. It seems that the game will, as expected, take place in a new Final Fantasy or new fantasy-based universe, but this time it's going to incorporate some steampunk elements. We really haven't seen that much since Final Fantasy VII. And the post also claims that Naoki Yoshida, who is considered many responsible for saving Final Fantasy XIV, will act as the director of the project. Many fans will be excited at the prospect of the Yoshida solely directing the game without having to fix previous issues. Facts. I've been saying it. I cannot wait to see what this guy can do. Like, he's done this. I want him to have the ability to take something from zero all the way across the finish line in this case. The leak claims that Yoshida led the project, the Yoshida-led project, learn how to read, Brian, will have combat inspired from Final Fantasy 15 and Dark Souls. And I've never played a Dark Souls game, but that's something I think we're going to have to talk a little bit about if this ends up panning out to be true, because maybe I should go play a Dark Souls game just to get a little bit better of a context of what that means. I know it's very single player. It's very in the sense that you're one character, you're fighting, it's hard. One wrong step, can lead to your demise in that regards. While many players will have expected the newly implemented active combat from Final Fantasy 15 to feature, it is also used from Final Fantasy VII's remake. Some may be confused by the Dark Souls reference. So Final Fantasy games often use groups of characters that players can utilize and do not share the same difficulty as a Souls game. And as a result, it would be interesting to see how those elements would interlink. Many would be interested to see how much truth is in this rumor, and while some aspects sound exciting, others do not seem to be keeping with the franchise. If the trailer is released for a new Final Fantasy game this summer, many fans will get excited and will want to see some of these rumors to be confirmed. Although if the series has taught fans anything, it's that there's usually a couple years to wait after the announcement of Final Fantasy titles before players can start playing the game. And so we know, this is what we know. 2016, new project, yoshi-p led, and that's been going on, obviously, for 4 years. It's 2020. So that's good. Now, if that project of 16 in and of itself, which I don't feel it's the right time for an MMO, like it just, especially with 14, I'd give it a little bit more breath. Originally I was like 17 seems to be about right. 17 putting it into maybe 2025 or something like that. However, yeah, 2016 to now, that's really interesting. Now, steampunk, if this isn't in truth connected to the 2016 project announcement and not some other project that's been going on this entire time, what's really interesting about that is the artwork and stuff that's shown off hasn't been very steampunk-esque. It's been very fantasy-driven, high fantasy. Yoshi-P's even talked about wanting to deliver more high fantasy style content within the game, and we've seen that with like Shadowbringers, and maybe that's what he was alluding to, which is all perfectly well and acceptable. So a steampunk-inspired, just dedicated Final Fantasy 16 game. Here's what's I'd love to know your thoughts, like the Souls reference in this case. If this all pans out to be true, I don't have no idea what. Like honestly, I don't care. Like I trust Yoshi-P. I trust, and I'd love to see what he could do from the ground up with his own world and story. And as long as like he, I'm sure he's gonna love it and care for it. Like that's all that really matters. Like I love the party aspect. I love being able to build my party. And one of the things that I struggled with in Final Fantasy 15 was I wish that they had at least taken the Gambit system from 12. That way you could at least have more AI control over your characters and kind of build them out. But that's just my one personal critique. I can understand why they didn't do that. Final Fantasy VII, the battle system seems to be very well loved, but yet I have yet to be able to go on. Chris has been able to play that, and hopefully he'll be able to share those thoughts with you guys at some point soon. Just, oh man, like don't, if it's gonna be, if I gotta wait 4 years for 16, that's fine, but don't tell me about it. Just don't. Like we know 16 is going to come. We know 15, well, like sold like really, really well. But don't sit here and tease it out. Don't like, oh, we got to change this up and this isn't working and now we got to go back to the drawing board. We've seen that time and time again. I'd rather just live in ignorance. Now, also they have the Crimson other thing that they talked about. Let me just scroll here for a second. Crimson Arboretum or Arboretum. That's like, yeah, I love that Square Enix is delivering new IP. And more recently, we've seen it with Bravely Default. We've seen it, obviously, with Octopath Traveler, and it's rumored that more of that's coming out here soon. So, obviously, all of this is rumor and speculation, and that's great. And that's, something to be excited about. But temper this. This is, like, if this does not happen, don't let that ruin your day. I just wanted to share this thing because, like, how awesome would it be if it does? And when it does, because whether it's this year or next year or the year after, Final Fantasy 16 will be a thing at some point. And yeah, we're going to be here to play it together, cover it, and talk about it. And what will be really exciting to see is like you just start to see Square Enix just really getting and stepping up. We just talked about over on Ginger Brime, the Outriders May update just yesterday. That's starting to look really good. That's coming out later this year. So really kind of having a very diverse portfolio, really kind of rooted in that RPG, that lore, and that story, spanning different genres. And so why not steampunk? Why not a little bit of Final Fantasy Dark Souls, if you ask me? But then I am like at the core just a hard fanboy. I don't think that really came out the way I wanted it to. A true fanboy? Anyway, you let me know what kind of fanboy I am. And with that guard, it's like, they could be like, and it's Final Fantasy 16, it serves you toast. I'd be like, yes, Final Fantasy. And then afterwards be like, well, ranks as a C or a D because, in the tier list and whatnot. So anyway, those are my thoughts. That's the information. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video somewhat with my, obviously insane, hard fanboy ramblings. I can't get that out of my head now. So that's going to be a fun day. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Hopefully you have a fantastic day. And I will hopefully see you in my next video. Otherwise, yeah. Take care. Hey, thanks for watching this video. I want to say thanks to our sponsor, me. for sponsoring this video. If you guys have not seen my new gaming podcast channel, Ginger Gaming Radio, link will be one of the top links in the description of this video below. Go check it out. We've got a couple of podcasts on there right now. We've got Crystal Core focusing on Square Enix. We've got PSO Radio focusing on Phantasy Star. We've got WTF Radio focusing on everything else in between and more. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the podcast. Let me know what you think, and please subscribe. Thank you very much and have a great day.